right? That is, it will not serve any purpose. But unfortunately, what is happening on LinkedIn is, I say I post something today. I have roughly 400-500 people, all from my same background. All software engineers, mostly. Oh, no variation in that audience. So when I post something, hardly say 5-6 people like that. So the LinkedIn algorithm will think that this content is not viral. This is not worthy enough to promote it, right? So what will happen is LinkedIn will not touch the algorithm will not touch this content. It will die. It will not reach anybody's feed, right? So basically, what will happen is Nakul's post will have a premature death, right? It will not reach its targeted intent. Now, second use case, right? Now, suppose Nakul, I'll pick another name. I say Divakar posts something, right? He completed the course. He post that on LinkedIn, and out of his 500 connections, 50 people liked it, right? There's an engagement happening. A few people commented. Now the algorithm will understand that there's something happening here. It's a good content. People are liking it. Let me make it into viral category. What will happen is now the 50 people who have liked it, right? It will be now visible in their feed. Their connections can also see that post, right? So now your post has become 2x visible. Earlier, it was within the your closed circuit community for Nakul. Only few people liked it, and it was very close-ended engagement. Right, few people liked it. For Divakar, 50 plus, and now the 50 plus their connections also can see it. Right now, it has gone outside the border. Right. So now Divakar has started getting the reach. Divakar profile has been now shown to many people. Right. So this is how LinkedIn algorithm works. So you will really have to make sure that you use LinkedIn properly. Right? And I have a presentation also, which I want to share, because that did magic for me, and it will do magic for you also if you very diligently follow the steps. Right. So yeah, I did that. I had 500 people before doing. After completing my MBA, I had 500 people, right, and same fraternity. So what happens is when a HR comes onto the platform and he searches, like say, the HR will search lead blockchain engineer, or they will search, blockchain architect, or they will search, blockchain product manager. Something, HR generally does the search like that, right? So would you want your profile showing up there right in top five? Correct? You need to get discovered. Correct? So how does algorithm pick you? Because algorithm really need to know that you are the right person for that particular search word, right? Blockchain product engineer, blockchain developer, or you take any position, right? I'm assuming all are technical folks here. So you have to get discovered, right? If you look at LinkedIn, there are 700 million people on LinkedIn today active user count, but 90% are passive consumers, which means they just come, log in, like, and leave, right? They're not getting benefited. The 10% of people who are really getting benefited of what they want, they get their next big job from LinkedIn, right? And I'll give you my example. Today I'm a co-founder of a company, and this opportunity I cracked through LinkedIn, right? And I'll take a step back. This is my latest stint, but how post MBA, LinkedIn helped me, right? So what happened is, so then I started writing blogs. I started adding more people, right? I started adding more people from my relevant domain. Now, if you are looking blockchain as a career option, you really need to add more people in your LinkedIn, right? Relevant field, right? Because then what happens is your LinkedIn feed, right? The moment you log in, you see something coming up, right? So that feed will get optimized. You will start seeing more cutting edge information. So my feed before joining MBA, all I was seeing, somebody did cloud certification, somebody did something, very specific to Oracle. I was seeing, right? Nothing cutting edge. So very boring for me. I mean, there is no content for me to get engaged. Now, after I started adding right people, from the targeted field, right? If say, you guys really want to ace blockchain as a career, so start adding those people. So what will happen is you will see the latest content in your feed from blockchain. Now I did the same thing. I started adding people, and I used to get cutting edge material from blockchain, right? Like say latest report from blockchain on enterprise, adoption of blockchain. Had it not been the case, I would have never known. Had this particular feed not come to my blockchain, I would have never known that Deloitte has, released their latest report. I would have come to know very later stage. but I got to know the day it was released because I had people from the blockchain industry who started sharing, and their feed started, coming on my feed, right? So I kind of curated my feed, and I started getting more engaged. My screen time, my platform time with LinkedIn started increasing. I was sitting more there, starting trying to get as much as possible from people, and I started writing also on blockchain, right? So I started populating my thoughts, my ideas. I was started sharing. So now LinkedIn started understanding that I'm more geared towards blockchain, right? So algorithm has got that idea, correct? So this is a step of what I did, right? So after MBA, I got my first lead via LinkedIn, where the head of Malaysian Stock Exchange, the like we have Sensex in India, the Malaysian Stock Exchange Bursa, the head of chief regulatory officer, she reached out to me on LinkedIn, saying that Varun, can we have a conversation on this thing, for a job opportunity? I said, why not? And this is how I cracked my first job, right? So since the time I started curating my profile, it took me six to 9 months. It does not happen overnight, and I got my first breakthrough through LinkedIn. And between first and second, right? Between my second job stint was I was a chief operating officer for Aquarius Exchange, right? I So I'll come back to Divakar. I will answer this question. Very good question. I appreciate that. Fantastic question that is. So my second job stint was, I was a chief operating officer, and this gentleman also reached out to me on LinkedIn. He casually called me like, Varun, can we have a call? And I was all open, right? So I said, okay, let's have a call. I went on to the call. So this guy was based out of Europe. He had his Indian director as well on the call, and they came onto the call and they said, Varun, we have seen your LinkedIn profile, we have seen your articles, we have even read your book which you have published on LinkedIn. Would love to roll out an offer to you. Right. And I was like shell shocked, because I was not expecting this to happen. I was like, casual meet and greet call where I will know them, they will know me, we'll discuss, and it will be a long process. Right? And generally, if hiring takes its own time, right? But they rolled out an offer, and that struck me that whatever I did last 1 year, in terms of writing blog, in terms of engaging content, writing meaningful stuff, it become a dividend for me, right? Because what happens is sometimes you will write something and you want instant gratification. That does not work. You need to give time for something to materialize, right? So that is how I got my second job. And then my third job again, LinkedIn, where the founder of this current company reached out to me. He said, Varun, I've seen your profile. It really matches on what I envisioned to do, and this is how I met him, and we are here today. So it's all the way post MBA LinkedIn. So if you know how to use LinkedIn properly, trust me here, you will do wonders. You got to be in the 10% of the community who knows how to use LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a tool, and I'll give you a practical example. When you and it's a very relevant example. Like say, let's see Bangalore. I'm based out of Bangalore. Commercial Street, right? It's a very popular shopping area in Bangalore, Commercial Street, right? So, and it's an old street also, right? So somebody from this group who has never been to Bangalore comes here, right? And suddenly, he comes for a meeting and he really wants to buy a shirt now because he has a meeting schedule and he forgot to bring his official dress. So somebody says him goes to go to LinkedIn, sorry, go to Commercial Street and buy there. So that guy goes to Commercial Street. Now there are two shops there. Okay, the moment he enters, there is two shops. One is Ellen Solly showroom, right? I'm sure everybody would have seen Ellen Solly showroom, right? They're very top notch, in terms of their appearances, the look and feel, the presentation, everything is there. And then there is a very old 100-year-old building with no proper maintenance, right? But inside there is the shop. The cloth is very well known, so the local people know them very well, and they know the quality is very good, right? But only for local people who know them, right? But the outside is shabby. Even the board is broken, and there's no excess waste, something like that. So now this person who has come from a third city, whether he will go to Alan Soli or he will go to this old broken shop, right? 100% this guy will step into Alan Soli, right? You need to LinkedIn acts as a store, right? So you need to get people inside your profile, right? That is the first step. How do you get people on your profile? That is the fundamental step, right? Because if people don't even visit your profile, they will never know you, right? So this is first thing, right? You got to attract people to your LinkedIn profile. Now, second thing, that person has entered Alan Soli. Now, what if entire shop is empty? All the racks are empty. There's only two shirts lying. So I will be disappointed, right? Because I expected Alan Soli to give me latest trending material, but what I see is all outdated stuff, nothing relevant. What I wanted is not there. I got disappointed. Now, bringing this to our example, I say, for example, I entered Nakul Sharma's profile, and I didn't find anything relevant. I thought from the outside I liked it, but when I went in, there is nothing. Right? There's no stuff for me to look at. Right? And when I mean stuff, there has to be content. Right? You got to write articles. You got to share cutting edge material. So that needs to. Once I go in, I need to see what is Nakul's mindset. Right? Is he very progressive, and technology loving, that he's sharing articles, he's writing articles, so that gives me a flavor, right? So likewise, when somebody reaches your profile, there should be something to serve him. It cannot be an empty profile, right? That cannot be an empty profile, right? You really need to have stuff in it to engage people. And once people get engaged, I would definitely want to talk to Nakul, right? At least a conversation. I don't know where it will take me, but I will have a conversation with Nakul, and this is how things work. People will reach out to your LinkedIn to have a conversation. Now, how do you convert it? It is your skill set, right? But the LinkedIn role is to convert that opportunity for you, right? So, with that said, it is very important for you guys, and again, this is a very important tool, the most underrated, neglected topic, and I'm talking based on experience. I'm not talking anything jargon here. If you use LinkedIn properly, if you show your engagement, that you will be visible to right people. Right now, I don't know how many people today on here knows that there's something called search appearances on LinkedIn. Right? You can go to your profile, you can have a look. There is search appearances. Right? What that means is, like, what were the top 5 keywords where your profiles popped up. For example, like say if I type today desktop engineer, or say network engineer, no, you guys are blockchain focused, right? So do you want your profile to pop up there? If a HR types desktop engineer, or say BPO engineer, or anything not relevant to you, right? Do you want your profile to pop up there? Definitely not, right? It is waste of anybody's time, right? Why would you want your profile? So if you look at search appearances, you will get an idea where is your profile getting popped up, and that is because your profile is not optimized, right? So my pre-MBA, right? So when I completed my MBA, and I came back to India, I looked at my search appearances, and it was still showing cloud engineer, database engineer, because that part is done for me. I don't want to again, go back to technology. I want to focus on more of a business oriented, right? So then I realized, how will I ever get into limelight or get to the HR's notice if LinkedIn itself is not promoting my, or projecting my profile to the right candidates. So this is where my mentor stepped in, asked me to optimize my profile. I worked on it diligently, and it started giving me right results. So today, if you look at, if I look at my search appearances, it says founder's office, executive search, chief roles. So for these roles, my profile gets popped up, and I'm happy with it. And this is how you will have to crack your algorithm. So LinkedIn is a tool which you will have to use it. And post today's session, I want everybody, it's a if you really want to have this LinkedIn work for you, not you work for LinkedIn by wasting your time, but LinkedIn work for you as your PR agent, right? Then you can start diligently today, by writing on articles, by sharing articles. Like say you read a very good article in some blockchain journal, or some say technical forum, you can share that link also. It doesn't matter that you will have to be a very top-notch writer. No, it doesn't matter. You can just, and again, I will come to the psychology side. Many people are very afraid of posting on LinkedIn, right? They will think what the people will think, right? And I was of the same category. I was getting into perfection paralysis. Like, I really want to put a fantastic article first time. No. So my mentor said, don't get into that trap. You need to build that repository. You need to train algorithm, right? So you need, at the time you write first article, it will be average. Second article will be better than the previous one. So by the time you reach fourth or fifth article, uh, Divakar, can you share your screen and share where we can search this? Oh, sure, we'll do that. So by the time you reach third, fourth article, you will get an idea. How people are responding to your content, what kind of engagement tweaks you have to do. So it's a trial and error method, right? So you got to start. That's the point. You have to build that repository so that there is a content in your profile. There is something for external visitor to look at your profile. Like what kind of knife HR? If I'm a HR, I got, say, Abhishek Yadav, I got his profile, from some consultancy for a blockchain developer role. My first thing, and I do that as a co-founder, as a chief operating officer, as a chief strategy officer. First thing I go to LinkedIn because that gives me an, understanding whether this is a passive candidate or it's an active candidate. When I say active, active candidates are always looking out for knowledge, cutting edge, getting engaged. They're sharing articles, they're reading. So that gives me an indication, right? And if the profile of Mr. Abhishek Yadav is very, outdated, he hasn't shared anything for 4 or 5 years or 3 months, you name it, right? So that will give me a flavor that is a very passive. He might be a brilliant candidate, but he has not shared anything, right? Because today technology is evolving, right? Every day something is changing, right? So you really need to upskill, and you guys, I appreciate that you are upskilling yourself. You're thinking because you have taken the course of Simply Learn. So I'm assuming that it's on the top of your mind to upskill yourself, right? So that is the first part. Now, how do you make yourself discoverable, right? Somebody has to reach out to you, because we earlier the scene was that you will be contacted by a random HR. He will ask your profile, you will send it to the manager, and you follow that trail. But now it's a reverse thing. You get yourself discovered. LinkedIn is a platform. You got to use it, and this is how you will be able to crack your next big opportunity, right? So I'll share. Divakar asked something, right? Let me see if I can put it. 1 minute, just a second. I'll give me a moment. I want to answer the call, please. Yeah, let me share if I can show that LinkedIn thing which Divakar asking. But now over to you guys. 30 minutes have passed. I want to ask. I have a presentation also, but I want you guys to ask some questions now. But in the meantime, I'm kind of opening the LinkedIn, and I'm going to show you where do you find the. Okay, so I'm on the screen. I need to share my screen. Give me a moment. I found that. Sure. Yeah, share the screen. Sorry. Is my screen visible, guys? Yes, no. Waiting for an answer, guys. Yes, no. Shravya, can you see my screen? Okay, fantastic. Sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah, so if you look at the screen, right, 531 profile views, 1,130 post impression, 392 search appearances. See how often do you end up in the search appearances. I've not worked on my LinkedIn, and I'm still getting popped up for this one, right? So that means what is happening right now with my LinkedIn profile is that I'm not active, right? So it will throw back to your older thing, right? Earlier, last month, if you would have seen, it was showing executive, chief operating roles, and everything what I wanted. but now it has gone back to its old thing, right? So the point here is you have to be really consistent. You have to be really consistent and show your engagement to LinkedIn so that it will start showing you what you want, right? So now I'm open to questions. I'm expecting questions so that we can answer very specific razor sharp questions, on how to build a career in blockchain and Web3. So, Shravya, if you can unmute people, I assume people are muted, but if you can unmute themselves. Siddharth? Hello.
Hi, Varun. Good evening.
Manikanta.
My name is
Yes, hi,
Manikanta.
Manikanta. Yes, tell me, sir.
Yeah, previously I was working as a Salesforce developer. So, like, how should I change my profile on the LinkedIn so that I should be accessible as a blockchain developer?
Fantastic. So I have another presentation which I will run through in the last 15 minutes, where I will show you a strategy on how to go about optimizing your profile, right? And it's a very good question. That's the fundamental step how you need to build your profile, because LinkedIn algorithm, what it does is it takes into consideration all the aspects, not just your content, right? Even if your photo, your title line of the LinkedIn profile, your summary, everything. Because again, if people know SEO, right, search engine optimization, so LinkedIn
Okay.
also works on optimization, so it will search for keyword, right? So I will show you that strategy. I have a presentation ready, and I will step by step show you the formula. That's a good question, Nick.
Yeah, thank you.
So now I think I've used the name Divakar and Nakul Sharma quite a lot, so I expect them to speak. I think Divakar had a question also. Does communication skill required for? It's always good to have. See, if you really want to grow in your career step, right? You start with developer, you become lead developer, you become architect, right? So communication becomes very. If you have that career trajectory in your mind where you are aspiring CTO roles, right? Communication becomes game changer, right? If you really want to stick to technical and see, it is the difference between average performers and great performers. That's the only skill difference. And communication is where it will take you up the ladder, right? You will be able to for an architect role, right? When I deal with architect, and if you are not able to communicate solution to the business owners, that becomes problematic, right? So it's a very important skill to have, not just for developer role, any role. If you really want to go up the ladder, communication will play a very pivotal role, in your this thing. Otherwise, what we'll see, I'm not saying those who don't communicate don't progress, right? If you are really want to be, if you're happy being technical behind the scenes, do your stuff, coding, go, you are welcome. You can do that, continue to do that, right? But at some point of time, you will find yourself stagnant. आपकी growth रुक जाएगी ऐसा. आपको लगेगा कि अभी बहुत हो गया बस टेक्निकल. But next level जाने के लिए you have to in fact ask somebody, right? आप बॉस से बात करने जाओगे तो you have to be very articulated, right? How do you put across? So communication there plays a very important role, right? And I've learned this, how can I make myself more professional in developer, because I haven't done any job. नहीं तो उसके लिए see what you can do is Abhishek, uh, connect with real life projects, understand some real life projects and try to build use case around it, right? मतलब अगर आपको blockchain में कुछ करना है, development सीखना है, so it's an open source technology, right? So stay connected with blockchain industry. For example, I don't know how many of you have Hyperledger. Hyperledger is a enterprise blockchain, correct? तो उसकी वेबसाइट पे जाओगे, इनफैक्ट आई कैन शो यू राइट नाउ, राइट? इट विल बी हेल्पिंग यू so that you will be knowing how to understand the use cases. Because say uh, if I get a job profile, resume from Santosh, Shravan, Abhishek, इन तीनों ने मेरे को प्रोफाइल भेजा ब्लॉकचेन डेवलपमेंट के लिए, बट संतोष gentleman Santosh, he has done some practical experiences in blockchain development use cases, whereas Abhishek and Shravan has just done basic, right? उन्होंने simply learn का course किया and they are out in the market, right? So I will prefer Santosh, right? Santosh ने course किया है, plus he has on his own, he has built use cases after seeing what is there in the market, right? He has got his hands dirty, right? Because see, technology is open source. Everything is readily available on your desk. So I will show you, Hyperledge website mein how can you participate. So this is the website of Hyperledger. I'm assuming everybody can see my screen. So this is the home page. Now you can click on participate. Use case tracker. For some reason, it's not opening. See here. So here you will learn and get to understand a lot of things here, right? It's a open source thing and a lot of stuff is. Let me click here. The website is there. So you can click on projects also. Contribute, also use. Yeah. So you can explore this website on your own. And the best thing is participate, get started. You can find a meetup, join a special interest group. So now say, there are so many domains, right? Healthcare, public sector, telecom. So aapko, when a developer understands the domain, right, he becomes a hot cake in the market, right? Because say I'm into prop tech, financial, applied fintech. So if a person who knows the financial domain, banking domain expertise usko malum hai, right? If he understands the banking domain and he's developing a solution, he will be my first preference rather than a developer who does not know any of the domain in and out and he just know coding, right? वो मेरा second choice होगा, right? So if you understand the domain, right? So you see all the domains are listed here. Now I'll give you an example. Let's go to finance domain, financial market. So you come here, click on get involved. Okay, Shravan has raised hand. Yeah, Shravan, please go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yeah, hi Varun.
Hi, Shravan.
Yeah, I have some difficulty. I have done some projects in crypto, but I can't disclose on the resume. So that how I can.
So then, see, if you don't disclose on a resume, then just give a highlighter. Na? You don't have to put exactly what you have done, right? You can camouflage it, right? Say you build a use case which is tracking in this particular industry. Don't give specifics of the detail, right? Right?
Okay.
Like say I built a like you did a supply chain project for one company. So you can mention that you use this use case, you build this use case for solving this particular pain point. So that is enough to catch the attention, and then it is up to you when you have a one-to-one discussion, right? So you don't mention specifics, but just give a highlighter, right? Because see, resume is an entry point. Resume will not fetch you a job; it will fetch you an interview.
Okay.
Right?
And
So
one more question.
yeah,
My last 14 years experience is in web development, and after that, approximately 2.5 years experience in blockchain development.
very good.
So how I have to refine my resume?
No, so see, fantastic. 14 years in a traditional
Web
development,
development.
right?
Yeah.
Web or software
In
development, you name it. It is a wonderful skill. It will complement. So see, when I hire people, I look at the maturity of Web 2, right? I just don't want plain vanilla Web 3. Right? They're very dangerous for me. So the person who brings that expertise from Web 2, right? They're hardcore. The fundamentals are very strong because again, I want to emphasize, the Web3 blockchain projects, they all follow the same methodology what you do in traditional Web 2. There's no difference, right? So you really need to undergo the same kind of focus when you learn software, right? Blockchain is not, it's just another technology, right? जैसे आप
right.
cloud सीखोगे, you will learn Oracle, like blockchain, right? So Blockchain does not mean that you are some special guest and you do things differently. No, you will go through the same software development cycle. You build projects, you do testing in non-prod environment, you take it to production. Right? The
Yeah.
blockchain is just another component, right? So I will you take I think Shravan, for to answer your question, you highlight the best of your Web 2 and show a progressive inclination to Web 3. And when I say progressive inclination, show your learnings from the Web 3, what you have learned, right? Like say, you attended a meetup, you participated something somewhere in hackathon, you build a use case, or write a white paper, something which has
Okay.
to show, give me confidence as a recruiter that this person is bringing the best of both the worlds, right? He knows the best of traditional development cycle, but he is here to learn the Web 3 world. So you are a fantastic
Okay.
candidate for me.
Can you share some profiles, that kind of profiles, so that I can?
No, see, I might not have those profiles. I'll give you this thing, right? You can search on LinkedIn. I
Okay.
might not have those profiles, but I'm giving you a framework. How to think about it, right?
Okay.
When
Right.
you
Right.
do when you think from a framework point of view, you will have a funnel approach, right? And you will do things systematically. Otherwise, you will be all over the place. This thing, right? So now coming back to this page, this was a financials page, right? So if I go down,
Okay.
right? See, the last meeting was on 24th. This thing, right? Wait, updated March 6th. So let me click on this one. Right. So now, see, you have a recording and presentation of this particular thing, right? CEO of this company speaks about identity using AI and blockchain in mortgage. Fantastic, right? So
Okay.
you have all the meeting notes here. So this is you guys can also join it. It's a free special interest group. You can sign up and start joining the group, and plus start accessing this. Like this is a treasure hunt, right? It's a gold mine, right? Like as I said, this is financials only, but if you go to every domain, you will find the similar sort of project information, right? So
Okay.
what will happen is you will build your understanding of the use cases, right?
Right.
What kind of use cases are getting built, right? So as a developer, it will force you to think, right? How can I think through differently? And when you learn this and you will find relevant opportunities in the market, you will be able to demonstrate your knowledge, thought leadership by telling that, you have understood this, like even though you have not worked, but you can deep dive here and give the insights to the interview panel, right? Because nobody will expect you to like have understanding of all the use cases, all the development. No, but what people expect is that you have a fundamental understanding of what you're talking about, right?
Right.
So this is a gold mine. I want people to leverage this, right? You can go to, again, I'll show you the path. You can you can go to, yeah. So you see special interest group, climate, financial, healthcare, identity, so many things, right? So
Right.
you can spend your rest of the life, looking at this material. Still, it will not be over. That much material is here, right? So start getting engaged, start
Right.
joining leaders. People will know you, right? And this is how. And again, I'm saying it's a long-term game. Things will not happen in a jiffy. You have to be very pragmatic. You have to start optimizing your LinkedIn, and this is how you will be able to, showcase yourself, right? Because everybody wants to have that opportunity. Right? Either you get hunted or you hunt. There are two ways to look at it.
Right.
So, and as I said, I had a presentation to show, right? I presented a small presentation,
Okay.
uh,
Please carry on.
right? So no more questions, right? If there's any other question, I can happily take it after the session. But this is very important. I think Divakar or somebody asked, right, Shravan, like how do you build your LinkedIn profile, right? So no, see, engaging. It's a trial and error, Divankar. You can put 3 4 content. You yourself will get an idea. See, your first no, see, that should be a part of your strategy. You see, what you do is in a month, you write one article, share one article and repost one article, and plus the people who are you are connecting, right? Like say somebody has 1 lakh followers, right? You have followed him. He has posted some comment, right? And if you look at his post, there will be like say 150 comments. So you can put a meaningful content, comment on his profile. So what will happen is all this 1 lakh people will see that comment, right? So that works wonderfully well. I have done this myself when LinkedIn influencers, right? Blockchain influencers, they post. I used to go and write a meaningful, okay, not just junk, meaningful content. And that day I easily used to get 5 to 10 good network connections, right? Because I've written something which is meaningful, relevant to what he has posted. So that should be part of your strategy. And plus the more you start doing it, the better you will get a handle on the type of audience your profile is reaching to, right? Right. So that is one strategy. But today, as I said, 90% of people are here. I've written 80, but it should be more than that. They focus on LinkedIn, which does not have any value, right? They just create a profile, sit there, and LinkedIn does not do anything, and the algorithm will not even consider them, right? But what actually matters when you build a profile is your network expansion, as I mentioned. Start adding people. If you have 500 people today, look at your network now. Try in next 1 month, make it 2x. Whatever the number you have, I make it 1x, 2x. Give yourself a target. Start adding people, and people love to be connected. Okay, it doesn't mean that you only have to connect known people, right? Generally, we have a tendency कि भाई इसको जानते हो इसको connect करो. No, LinkedIn is a huge ocean. Start reaching out people. ठीक है ना? And no, Devaka, I'll be more happy when you start implementing. This is nothing. You start implementing, you will see success, right? Because success depends on you. How you use LinkedIn is a tool, and the algorithm works the same for everybody. It doesn't matter if it's the CEO of a company or if it's a junior lead software engineer in a startup. It works the same. If you diligently follow the formula, it will take you to the places, right? So I'm going to start the 7-step process, on how to, curate your LinkedIn profile, right? So most important thing, your photo, right? It has to be a headshot and nothing more than that, right? People don't want to see your entire body. They just want to see your face, right? People love faces. People love smiles, and people love people like themselves, right? If I'm say a nerdy developer, I can have a casual, but if I'm a C-level executive, if I'm a director, so I will have a more professional blazer kind of a look, right? So a good profile photo will fetch you more profile views, right? Very important, right? So fundamental thing, don't ignore this. It has its own value. So first step is profile photo. Now second thing is your headline, right? Very important. What do you want to become, right? Now in your case, I assume there are a few freshers. You can put aspiring blockchain developer, right? So you are actually now targeting the LinkedIn algorithm, right? You're targeting the algorithm because algorithm picks up this word, right? Algorithm understands this keyword very sharply, right? So you really need to have proper headline in your title, right? If you are I forgot the name. I think Shravan or somebody, right? He is already an experienced professional, so he can write a lead, web developer, right? And an aspiring blockchain product, technical architect, right? That can be his title line. So you really need to have a solid line so that algorithm can get into you. Third thing, the summary, right? After the headline, you have a small summary column, right? So, and this is the step when people enter your door. You remember my example of Alan Solly, right? People have entered. Now they are looking for who's this guy? Thoda sa flavor milega. So instead of asking straightforward, looking for a job, does not matter, right? You have to put your best out there, right? What you have done in the past, right? Like say for a fresher, I did a project which was into this space. Write your intern projects, write your self-engaging projects, and for a senior professional, you can put your achievements in the last few years, whatever you have done, right? Very important. because specific keywords, get more 40x more, likely to get contacted about opportunities, right? That is step 3, right? So again, let me rewind: profile, photo, headline, summary. Now comes the most important experience, right? Uh, just putting a blank experience does not work. You really need to have bullet points with very targeted keywords, right? Now you can see the example, right? And 90% of the profiles I've seen, and I'm myself a part of that earlier, right? Just writing, I worked with Wipro, I worked with Cognizant, I worked with Hyundai. I just wrote that, thinking that my profile is superb. But then when I put myself in a role of a recruiter, in a role of a founder, and I go to the profile, I don't know what have you done, right? What is that you have done in a position where you were a marketing associate in General Motors? I don't know. If I read this, I'm getting a lead. Okay, sounds interesting, very closely aligned with what I'm trying to do. Let me talk to this guy, right? So at least you will have to write something. So it is like a hook. हुक क्या होता है, to gather something, right? हुक होता है कि लोगों को अट्रैक्ट करना है, so you have to create those hooks, right? So that is step 4. Step 5 is your education, right? Make sure your education is populated properly, right? That is your step number 5, education. Next step is skills. Now you look at the difference on the screenshot, right? I put on the right. You don't have to put random skills, teamwork, philosophy. This doesn't matter. What you have to put is very specific, targeted about your job, what you're doing, and what is that you intend to do, right? So if you look at the bottom one, is very razor sharp: product marketing, market research, and email marketing. Because teamwork is a very high level, right? It's an umbrella term. It's a 50,000 feet view, right? Nobody can judge you here today based on the teamwork, right? Because it's a collective work. You don't know how much you've contributed, just like that, right? So don't waste this opportunity. Have a very featured skills and endorsements, right? That is step number 6. And the last one, recommendation, right? It does wonders. Trust me, I've got 50 plus recommendations from all my jobs so far. In my last 18 years of careers, I've got 50 plus recommendations. And today, people read that. मेरा first job में जो recommendation था, till today, people read that. So it creates a perception in the mind of the person who is trying to visit your profile, trying to have a conversation, instead of a person who has got no recommendation, whose profile is not so active. So he will just come and leave. So it will not do magic for you, right? So at least you need to have from your each job one recommendation, right? For senior profiles. And for juniors, what I recommend is, ask your college guy, your HOD of the department, or your intern where you have done the project. At least ask them to, endorse you, or LinkedIn. It helps a lot, right? So here is the checklist for you guys. Again, I've just summarized all the 7 points here. So the question you need to ask: can the algorithm find you? In that 700 million people, can the algorithm search you? And will the recruiter be able to discover you, right? That's a very simple question you have to ask, right? And what you need to do to get into this algorithm's radar, right? So again, are you ready to make LinkedIn work for you? Very simple, straightforward formula. It's a tool, which you have to leverage for you, right? That's it. So that was my presentation, guys. I wanted to keep it very simple, very actionable, and straightforward. So I hope that it was a value add, and now I'm open to take questions, guys. I still expect more questions. People have not spoken. I think 2 people have spoken. Rest all are silent. But I would love to have more questions. Okay. So okay. So I have a question here, please. I'm working in the crypto blockchain as a social media manager, also pursuing MBA in digital marketing. I have no technical. Is this course in blockchain enough? So Nakul, to your question, social media manager in a blockchain, it's always good to have knowledge about blockchain. And plus, I see you're also pursuing the MBA, right? So blockchain will help. Of course, understanding the nuances of the technology will help. But again, you will have to understand, how to build strategies, go-to-market strategies, how to make sure your digital, marketing is effective, growth marketing, performance marketing, a lot of stuff for you, right? So compared to a person who in a crypto who does not know blockchain and he's doing the stuff, you are better off resource as a social media manager who knows blockchain, right? So it will definitely help, right? Just blockchain won't help, but having blockchain will only be a value add for you. Now, your second question is from, I think, Sam Sundar Swaraj. I am from a non-technical background and I have recently completed my degree. I am interested in studying my career. I have no idea, but you don't need to know market, Mr. Pasala, Sam Sundar. You have just started. Give all your focus on building the skill set, right? You are a non-technical background, so depending on how you want to build your career, whether it's in a technical line or it's in a non-technical line, project management, marketing, the different avenues, project in blockchain space, like a product management. So you really need to be very clear on what you want to first aspire to be in blockchain. Blockchain is an umbrella term, right? And then you can be a product manager, you can be a developer, you can be sales, a lot of things. So you really need to be very sure on what you want to be, and forget about market. Market is too early for you, right? You focus on the skill development. Market will automatically gear towards your skills. If you have the right skills, market will come to you, right? So don't focus on the market and all. These are all uh, I would say distraction thing for you. Focus on building the core skills, right? So that would be the answer for you. I think that's the question we have. Any more questions, guys? Prasan, please. I think you have raised your hand. Happy to hear your voice.
Thank you. So I did my MBA in 21,
Fantastic.
and I actually did in finance and marketing. But then I got a job in which there was no role of it. Basically, we did more of whatever is required in the company. So ultimately, the grasp on the subject didn't go so much in the job I had. So the recently I had a talk with my friend and learned about the prospects of blockchain, and I ultimately thought of changing the career, changing the industry altogether. So I did this course. So I'm completely new to this, and also like I do not have a lot of grasp on the knowledge which we had in the MBA times. So I wanted to know how should I approach about this. That is all I wanted to know.
Prasan, whatever I tell might not be relevant for you. The reason being, you will have to discover yourself, right? Good that you're taking that initiative to change your. Not many people have that courage, right? I did the same thing. I changed my career track in last 18 years 3 times. And some people want to have this career, one technology picked up, and till this retirement they use the same technology. But you are courageous that you are looking for change. That is the first sign of your success, right? So what I want, now that you are MBA, you want to understand blockchain. So the resource which I showed you, right, Hyperledger, try to
Correct.
understand the use cases. See blockchain in retail, like for an MBA. I don't know what is your specialization in MBA, but
It was
MBA means
finance and marketing.
correct. So see, the word business comes into MBA, right? So you
Right.
think about use cases, right? How to build businesses. The more you read, the better understanding you will have, and you will clear your path your way. What I tell would not work for you, right? The reason being, your journey is different today. You have taken this course. I don't know whether it's a technical course or non-technical, but as an
So
MBA, yeah,
in the blockchain course which I took, in the second module we studied about Solidity and Hyperledger Fabric.
very good,
And
fantastic.
in the first we understood about the basic of blockchain.
Oh,
So
fantastic. See, good to have. See, that's a starting point, right? So now you have done the basics of blockchain, you understand the nuances of the technology, right? So what I want you to is now build use cases, right? Use cases on the top, because see, if you are having a conversation, like say we are having a happy hour, we are sitting on a beer, we are talking, and person you are able to tell me use cases happening in agriculture, retail, I'll be blown. My mind will be blown, right? This guy understands nuances. He knows the use case, right? So, this is how you will have to, start shaping your career very practical way. Otherwise, what will
okay.
happen is you will just go with a funnel approach and start going people's way without realizing your own skills, right? So you might be like your forte might be finance, right? So blockchain in finance is a huge ocean. There are a lot of things which you can do in blockchain in finance, right? So start focusing on your skills, and build the use cases, right? And this Hyperledger website, which I said you, it's a wonderful resource. You can do wonders in there. I hope that
Just
answers your question.
I
Yeah.
also wanted to know your opinion on this, that whether you think Solidity is a more better career opportunity or Hyperledger Fabric.
You see, again, Prasun, you are getting into what I say pigeonhole. Forget about solidity. This thing, focus on fundamentals. Solidity, if you learn, then you will be able to tackle anything else. Solidity is a fundamental language from Ethereum, right? If you
Yes.
crack that, if you understand the nuances, you will be able to do that for any other language, right? So don't get into trap what is best in the market. Market will keep on evolving, but you have to be presenting yourself as a way that you're future proof. You understand the technology from a very underlying level, not just what changes, right? So language is because today, if you look at EVM compatible languages, right? Most of the blockchains are EVM compatible. If you know
Mhm.
Solidity, you can easily shift your gear to any other language, Golang or Rust or you name it. So it doesn't matter, right? So focus on building true skills based on your interest, and that will automatically give you dividend provided you are consistent in your approach.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. Divakar, I think we have one more minute. I'll take your question. It's limitless. Opportunity is fantastic. Uh, if you understand the way you think about building use cases in blockchain and take the entrepreneurial route is you need to understand the domain first, right? There are so many people who have built solutions with no head or tail, right? Because they never understood the domain. What happens is, like say, banking domain, right? Or say lending, or say, healthcare or retail or supply chain, you name it, right? So when I understand the domain end to end, I'll be knowing the pain points also, right? And when I know the pain points, I'll be working on the solution to address those pain points, correct? So I've done that research, right? So this is how you have to start thinking about entrepreneurial stuff rather than hearing from someone, will make a technical solution for this one. You spend your precious time in building technical solutions, and when you go to the market, you first thing that comes to your notice that this was never a pain point, right? So you don't want to get into that zone where your solution is not usable by anybody, right? And this is what many people have got into trap, especially developers, because they never think, they only think from a technical perspective and not from a business angle, right? And that angle comes when you understand domain knowledge, right? So whatever your sector is, if you build a domain expertise, right? Like say you is from finance, he understands the finance domain, or Nakul understands, healthcare domain end to end, right? So he will then start appreciating the pain points of that particular sector, and that will force you to think, develop solutions, right? So that will be fantastic, real entrepreneur stuff, right? I mean, you will have a great chance to build solutions for a product market fit, rather than without doing any homework, because you are a technical developer, because it's open source, you know coding very well, you develop something, there's no one to buy, correct? Matlab exactly, that's the way it should be. You always, generally people have put blockchain in a position where it is like a vaccine finding the disease, correct? Right? So you don't want to do that. You don't want to do backward, like, it's the solution finding the problem. A problem needs to find solution. Always think in that way. A solution need not find the solution, and that's what people are doing mistake. They have a solution and they go backward to find problem. Right? It does not work that way. You need to have a concrete problem to find the solution. Fantastic. So I hope, guys, it was a value add for your time. And as I promised, I wanted to create value for you guys. Because you guys spent 1 hour today with me on a Friday evening, that on a holiday. I appreciate that. So I'll, any other questions you might have, I might take offline through the help of, Siddharth or Shravya. Please do mail me. But thank you so much for your time. I appreciate that, and I wish you all the best. Whatever you have learned today, you can put that into practice. I'm pretty sure each one of you, start reaping dividends of, LinkedIn and grow in your career, right? And do add me on LinkedIn. I am on LinkedIn. I'm active on LinkedIn. In terms of responding to people, right? I might not be active right now because I have a lot of tasks right now, managing companies. I'm seeing the dark side of startup. I have good problems to solve, but I am very prompt in people who reach out to me via LinkedIn. Right, I make sure that I respond to them. So in case you have any questions, add me. Happy to answer, and wish you all the best. So over to you, Shravya, Siddharth. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. So, before wrapping up this session, I'd request all of you to give the feedback. I've already pasted the feedback form in the chat window. Do give your valuable feedback. So, yeah, one more time, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank